Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're gonna be talking all about how to stand apart from your competition. If you don't know me, my name is Tyler Link. I own and operate my own $4 million concrete and landscape company, as well as Contractor CEO, where we help other contractors grow and scale their business. About 4 years ago, I had to learn how to do this literally out of survival because my business was doing about $1.2 million a year at the time, and I went through this big conference basically learning that I had to raise my prices, and what I realized is if I raised my prices, then no one was gonna buy from me, and I wasn't gonna be able to have a business anymore. So I had to learn how to look different so that way I could sell jobs for higher prices, and so that is exactly what we're gonna cover in today's video. And now, ever since we've implemented all the changes that I'm about to tell you in this video, we can charge about 30 to 40% more than my competition and still sell our $4 million worth of work. So the three main areas that we're gonna be talking about today is how you can look different before someone calls you, after someone calls you in their lead, and then during your sales process. So before someone calls you, one of the most important things is your messaging. This could be your messaging on your website, on your ads, on your Facebook ads, Google ads, you name it. It's all about the words that you're choosing to say and how you represent your company. A lot of times I'm actually scrolling through my feed and I'm seeing other people's messaging and it all sounds the exact same. They say, hey, are you in need of a quote? Call us today to get your free quote. And when everyone says that, one, the market kind of perceives everyone as being the same, but we're not actually talking to the pain points of who we want as our ideal customer. Some people, their messaging is, oh, hey, call me because I have a very affordable solution, which then in return, they're like, well, why is everyone that calls me tire kickers and they're all the worst customers? I'm like, it literally says affordable in your name. Versus what I recommend is to choose messaging that's gonna resonate with people who are willing to pay a higher price for your service. So you could even say something like this. Have you been wanting to get your concrete done, but you kind of gave up on the process because every time that you called someone, they never really returned your phone call and the process was just way too difficult? Well, here at my concrete company, just fill out a form and then you'll actually be able to schedule a call directly to my sales team's calendar. If we don't answer, we'll send you $100 just for wasting your time, so that way you know that we will be available whenever you request. So now in that example, what we're really doing is we're appealing to someone who they just don't want to be wasting their time. They don't want to deal with a ton of contractors. They don't want people who aren't going to call them back. And they have this huge pain point of not wanting this process to be super difficult. So who doesn't want the process to be difficult? Oftentimes that means people with more money because they're really busy and their time is worth a lot of money. See the difference? One messaging is like, hey, call us if you need a quote. The other is like, hey, if you have this one pain point, that I could solve that for you. A couple other examples of how you could do this in your messaging is talking all about your product and how it's a little bit stronger. Maybe you have a longer warranty, or maybe you just have some extra reason where someone would want to choose you over your competition. If you display that in your messaging, then you will be attracting the people who that actually resonates with, and therefore you're going to be attracting a different type of customer. And this kind of goes hand in hand with number two, which is your reputation. Number one is about your reviews, but it's also about what people say about you, whether in your reviews or people that just know of you. You want to be really, really careful about the type of company that you become known for. Like for instance, when I made this switch when I was doing $1.2 million a year and I wanted to switch to being a premium contractor, I had to reset our entire brand image. And honestly, looking back, I wish I would have just changed this in the very beginning because I was upsetting a lot of people. A lot of people who are getting sent to us from word of mouth, they're like, oh, hey, call Tyler's Concrete Company, Caesar's Concrete, call them because they're a lot cheaper than other people. That's literally what we are known for. And so I was drawing in all of the people who are a lot cheaper. And therefore, when I tried to switch it, I was pissing a lot of people off. So just be careful of whatever you are known for. Make sure you're doing great work, you have great service, and charge a higher price from the very beginning if you can, because if that's what you're known for, then more people will call you who are interested in that type of service. And then lastly, we have branding. So imagine if you're a customer and you want to find a concrete company, for instance, who does great work, who has a great product, and you know is going to be a little bit more expensive, you're going to look for someone who has maybe branded trucks, branded apparel with their people and their crews. They're going to have a really nice website. And so just know that whatever image you are putting out to the world, aka your brand, what people associate with, that will be the type of person who calls you. Versus if you're a company who doesn't have a great brand, maybe you have either very poor lettering on your truck or none at all, and then your crews aren't branded, then someone will see that and they'll say, oh, that guy must be cheap. He doesn't even have enough money to wrap his truck. I know it sounds crazy, but from a customer's perspective, I am telling you that if you do not have that stuff, then the people who are stopping you aren't stopping you because they think that you're the best. If anything, you look a little bit sloppy, they're stopping you because they think that they can get a deal. And then lastly, the last thing that we could really do before someone even calls you on how you can look different is to be educational. So whether this content on your website, social media, your main goal with your marketing efforts and how you should look is the company who actually really cares about what their customer is going to buy, and you want to educate your customer. Because, for instance, if someone wants a patio, believe it or not, if I'm selling concrete, right, I'm not really competing with other concrete companies. I am, but who I'm also competing with are someone who sells decks, someone who sells paver patios, someone who sells flagstone patios. If I am the one that's helping educate the customer and I'm saying, hey, concrete may or may not be a good fit for you for your patio, here's some pros and cons. And say, for instance, they read that article or they see that on social media, and then they say, oh, wow, all the pros of concrete I really like, and the cons don't really seem to bother me, and I've already kind of weighed my other options. I think concrete's going to be a great choice. Who are they going to call? Me, who educated them, or you, who they've never heard of? You kind of get what I'm saying? So the goal of all of your marketing is not to convince people to buy your stuff. It's to find the people who are going to be the best fits for your company and your product, and you do that through education. All right, and the second way that we stand apart is once someone calls you, right? And I call that lead nurture. And so what most companies do is they all do the same exact thing. They either have a lead form on their website or a phone number. And first and foremost, about 80% of contractors don't answer their phone. So the good news is, honestly, if you just answer your phone, you're already gonna be looking a lot different than your competition. Here at My Concrete Company, we really try to push people to fill out a form on all of our marketing materials, whether that be our website or our ads. And the reason that we do that is once they submit their form, we actually take them to a thank you page where then they can book a call directly onto our sales team's calendar. So doing that, and that most contractors don't do that, we automatically look a lot different. We look a lot more organized, we look a lot more put together, and someone who's gonna be spending a lot of money, they care about certain things like that. So if you wanna look like and draw in those type of customers, then you should be doing certain things like that too. So I call that speed to lead. It's essentially how fast are you gonna connect with that lead once they become a lead. And then the second aspect of speed is once someone contacts you back, let's just say, for instance, someone calls you, you miss their call, you call them back, now they call you again, or maybe it's text message, are you gonna wait 2 to 3 hours to get back to them, or are you gonna get back to them right away? So people are gonna be judging you all about speed of first contact, and speed of reply. Number 2 is volume. If you are going to be messaging people, I would say that especially in the very beginning, and I know a lot of people were like, we all want to be look on our high horse and be like, oh, well, I'm not desperate, so I'm only going to contact a customer once, and if they don't call me, I'm never going to contact them again. But I'm telling you that is absolutely the wrong thing to do. At least that's what I discovered in my concrete company. And we increased the amount of volume that we reach out to people. So on the very first day, we actually try texting them and calling them. If they don't get back to us, we try texting and calling them again in day 2. But then we slowly draw down our volume of reach outs. But again, if that customer all of a sudden submitted, say, 3 quote requests, and it was me and 2 of my competitors, and my other competitors took forever to get back to them and they only called them once, versus us, we tried to reach out multiple times, who do they think is gonna do a lot better job if they ever have a problem on their project? Well, it's gonna be me. Why? Because we're very eager to communicate. We wanna be on the same page with our customers, and that really stands out to them. All right, and then the third area is during your sales process. And so once you've already made contact with that lead, and now you begin to actually talk about them with their project or what their project is, we could stand out in our sales process. And so the number one way that I like to stand out in our sales process here at our company is by just honestly caring about our customers. And it kind of goes hand in hand with education in the very beginning. I don't want my customer to hire me just because. So the whole goal of our sales process is not to convince someone to choose us. It's more me giving them certain things. Like, for instance, I have a very clear reason why someone should choose my concrete company. For me, it's because every single project that we have comes with a dedicated project manager, so your experience will be very good. If people look at our reviews, they can see that almost every single person in our reviews comments about how great our communication is. So if they care about that, then we might be a good fit. Secondly, if they want a strong product, I don't just say that we have a strong product, I back it up with warranty. I happen to have a longer warranty than all of my competitors. So my 2 main things that I say are you're gonna get a dedicated project manager and you're gonna get the industry leading warranty for our area in Northern Colorado. And then the thing is, I'm not trying to convince someone that that's important, because if a customer hears that and they might say, oh, well, that's great. Like that really, that's very important to me. I say, well, great. You might be a good fit for our business. We might be, a match made together. But if someone says, I'm not a good fit for that, I'm not going to talk them out of using us, but I say, okay, if that's something that's not important to you, to be honest, there's other competitors in the area and they're going to be doing a similar product, maybe not as good of an experience and not as great of a warranty, but they're certainly going to be a lot cheaper for us. And what people are noticing is that in our sales process, I am not trying to convince them to use us. I'm simply just trying to educate them and help them. And at the end of the day, if you're just doing what's best for the person on the other line, they're going to feel that and trust you a heck of a lot more. So then when you finally do find a customer who is a good fit, they will be able to feel that and they will want to work with you a lot more than your competition, thus be willing to pay a higher price. And so one of my favorite ways that we actually do that is we do a pre-qualification call before I actually go out and do an in-person estimate. And the way that it works is when someone fills out that form on our website and they go to a calendar page, then they book a slot to talk with my sales team, we actually do a phone call with them before we come out. On that phone call, what we're actually doing is we're getting to know the customer and their project. Most of my competitors are just trying to get to know the project and they're trying to give them a price. But how we stand apart is we're also trying to get to know our customer. And we ask certain questions. I might say, so what motivated you to reach out? And if they say, oh, it's my driveway, I say, oh, okay, what about your driveway? Is it just a little unsafe, or is it more the looks? And they say, oh, no, it's the looks. Well, now that I know it's the looks that's important to them, I can recommend certain products that we have, whether it be colored concrete, smooth borders, stamped concrete, etc., to maybe boost the looks of their curb appeal, versus someone that says, oh, I'm reaching out for my driveway. And I say, oh, cool. So what makes you interested in a driveway? Oh, well, I'm reaching out to a driveway because I have a big crack and it's very unsafe. So now I'm going to tailor my messaging all about how the product I'm going to give them will be much more safe, much more durable, so that doesn't happen again. You kind of see the difference? So I'm not just talking about the product, but I'm specifically talking about my customer and why this project is important to them. But because I'm doing that, I'm getting to know my customers at a much deeper level. We're building a lot more rapport. And at the end of the day, they're trusting me a lot more. And for some people, they're absolutely willing to spend a higher amount of money with a company who actually took time to get to know them, because they feel like my company will be able to provide them with not only a better experience, but a much higher likelihood of giving them what they actually want. Because people don't necessarily want your product, they want whatever thing that product is trying to give them. Like for instance, with a patio, are they trying to buy a patio just to have a patio? Probably not. Are they doing it because they want to spend time with their grandchildren out on their patio? Well, great, now I can tailor what I'm going to try to sell that person all around spending time with their grandchildren. I'm going to say, great, do your grandchildren, do they like to come over summer nights? They're gonna say, oh, they love to. Well, I know you guys are just doing this, and honestly, on this size of patio, you're gonna have enough room to put a table and chairs and stuff like that, but have you guys thought about doing a little fire pit area? Do your kids, do your grandchildren, do they like that? They're like, oh my God, we never thought about that. What a great idea. But because I'm taking the time to get to know them while they're trying to do it, I can recommend solutions based on what they want, not what I want them to buy, but what they might want to consider based on their circumstances. So if you do all those three things, if you change your messaging and your branding before people call you, then number two, once someone calls you, you actually get back to them fast, you have a high volume, and you're staying consistent. And then number three is when you're finally talking to someone during your sales process, if you take the time, you get to know them, and you're recommending products based specifically on what would be good for their situation after you know them. All three of those things, that's what I use in my company to stand out from my competition and charge 30 to 40% higher prices than all of our competition. If you want help implementing this strategy inside your business, check the link below in the description at Contractor CEO. That is exactly what we specialize in. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one.